When do you walk away? First off, unless you're in physical harm or even mental harm, then you want to walk away as soon as possible if you're being obviously abused in any way. On the other side of that, no one can necessarily tell you when to walk away. However, if you are in a situation like a job that maybe isn't serving you anymore, maybe some friendships that really are not the same anymore, a relationship. When I say it no longer serves you, when you are in a position to where you're feeling suffocated, where you've got to figure out how to get your own oxygen mask on first, when you're able to stand in your power and know your worth and make that decision that you are no longer going to tolerate certain things in your life because you are worth more, you deserve more, and that you are more. We always know when it's that time. It's just that sometimes we get that heart tug or that other part of us that says no. And then we'll make all of these excuses as why we should stay. At the end of the day, when you understand your value, your worth, your uniqueness, when you understand that you have to put your oxygen mask on first, or from your saucer and not your cup, and you will not allow anyone to drown you or to suffocate you, that is when you know it's time to get the hell out. Being on target and staying positive. Someone said something about putting yourself in stories and in when you're thinking with your mindset. And I say that to say there are things that we continue to carry that we don't let go of, and we carry it with us, and no two attitudes or anything can occupy that same space. So if you've got something that you're carrying with you that is dragging you, that is letting you be less than magnificent, it's time to let that go. It's time to leave it so that you can be positive, so you can be on goal, so you can make the difference that you want to make. When something is really bugging me and I just don't let it go, when it's really bugging me, I ask myself, isn't it time you let it go? Leave it at the water, Victoria. And so there are times when you can take these stories that you hear when Rex speaks and when some of these other ones speak, you want to think, how can I apply that to me so I can stay positive, so I can stay on track, so that I can hit my target. Entitlement, a belief that one is deserving or entitled to certain privileges. In America, I can see kind of both sides of certain situations in this country. This is not a racial discussion, but I wanted to bring it up kind of as a purview. And I'm also a woman. When I think of entitlement, I don't think it's so much as egotistical. I think it more of there are certain rights and privileges that should be afforded to every living soul. You have the right to a good education. You have the right to meals. You have to eat. And so when I think of entitlement, I think of someone who understands that they are a living soul, someone who understands that they have certain rights and privileges because they are a person. Now, you can look at the other side of the coin and someone who's egotistical, someone who doesn't care for others, that think that they're entitled. I had a situation with my children. My boys felt they were a little entitled to some things, and I had to give them a financial lesson. And it was like, look, the law says the only thing I have to give you is I have to feed you and I have to give you a roof over your head. Everything else, I'll have to give you. And I think when you're looking at that type of, it humbled them. And I think someone mentioned being humble, and it humbled them. And they understood that they do have certain privileges, but it's not something that they necessarily have to take advantage of and be egotistical of. Triggers. It didn't take much to trigger me. I was like a yeller. I would yell at my children. I would yell at people. I was a yeller. Some way along the line, I started doing that mindset work. I came across a quote by Einstein. What he said is that we have a decision to make whether or not we want to live in a hostile or peaceful universe. We have the power to decide if we want to live in a hostile universe or a peaceful one. The fact that you have the power to decide how you want to live. You can decide if something's going to trigger you or not. And if you have known triggers, you can prepare for those triggers. Just decide you can train your brain to do whatever you want it to do because you are powerful. Something else too is that I had to learn to become what I saw. If I wanted peace in my life, if I wanted joy in my life, if I wanted happiness, I had to embody those things. I had to become those things. Gratitude and love are the highest of frequencies. And do you know that when you can get yourself in a state of gratitude and of love, that scientists can see it radiating 3 meters from your body? Those of that are walking and people just like come and talk to you, it's because you are living what you want. You are living who you are. You are standing in your power. It's our scars that make us whole. The important thing is, are you going to keep carrying those scars? Are you going to heal them so you don't bleed on the people who did not cut you? Again, you have the right to decide. You have the power to do this. No one else can make you angry. No one can make you any way that you don't allow them to make you. And that was a hard lesson for me to learn too. But I had to learn, get yourself full of love, of peace, of gratitude, of these higher emotions. Because where there is light, there could be no darkness. Be the light, be the love, become what you seek in this world.